A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's another Monday evening, time for Man Up. This is the corner for men where we sit down and talk about pertinent issues that men of this generation are facing. Today we have a very interesting conversation that we are going to be getting into. We are going to be talking about stay-at-home dads. I have a question for you. When you hear the term stay-at-home dad, what comes to mind? What's the picture in your mind of a stay-at-home dad? Supposing we met along the streets and then you asked me, hey, James, what do you do? And I told you I'm a stay-at-home dad. What would you think of me? Share your thoughts on 20316 for SMS and WhatsApp 0786 316 316. I've got two amazing guests in studio with me this evening to help with this conversation. First of all, we have the man of wisdom. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Joseph Rue, a psychologist. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
We also have father, husband, homeschooler, teacher. Me, I give you maximum respect. I tried homeschooling my son one day. Humphrey Gitanga, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, James.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
I tried to homeschool my son.
Yes.
My friend. I realized we had finished a month and he had only done 2 lessons.
Okay.
I decided to take him to school. I realized I'm messing up this young man's life.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Stay-at-home dad. When you hear that term, what do you think about?
Okay, stay at home is something actually I had to rethink when I decided, or we decided that I should homeschool my children. Because people would look at me. I remember one of my friends telling me, hey, Humphrey, hey, nakuinamishia, as it were in Swahili. Yeah, he said, Humphrey, actually what I'm concerned is, he was telling me, I mean, what, the interaction, I mean, with other people at work, I know that you've been doing this for years. So what will happen? Yeah, so, but it's something that I'd really thought about for quite a while, even before we got married, that I would really want to homeschool my children. Not as necessarily because of the issue of education as number one, because anybody, you can get education anywhere, but because of the character building, the Christian character building. That is what was key to me. Yeah, and I really wanted to really be able to mold them in that direction as a parent. Not that the others are not doing it, but I thought that would be the best way for me to be able to do it. And we were asking the Lord for an opportunity for me to be able to do that. So when the Lord provided for me an opportunity, I took it and ran with it. Yeah. So a stay-at-home dad, for me, it's not just staying there and looking at the children. Come on, achomeki. It's for me, it's I homeschool them, and then after that, I also do my own. I have my own work that I do, consulting, which of course I work from home. Yeah, so I balance the two. Yeah, so in the morning hours we do the homeschooling part. In the afternoon I do my own consulting in accounting work. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I find that interesting because I was just thinking, and we were having this conversation before the cameras began rolling. When you hear the term stay-at-home mom, the picture we usually have in our minds is mother staying home with the children, taking care of the children, making sure the house is neat and tidy before the husband comes home in the evening, and life goes on. And so the assumption is when you mention stay-at-home dad, you're thinking about the man, the female version of a man, the male version of a woman, staying at home, taking care of the kids, watoto wameoshwa, wacha nikanunue viazi leo tunapika nini.
Diapers.
Yes.
Changing diapers.
Is that what we are talking about?
I think you can look at it from 2 dimensions.
Yes.
And one of that dimension is the old day, stay at home.
Yeah.
And there is now the current, the present day, stay at home dad. The old version, these are men who basically, and you can be at home for many reasons. There are some people who are incapacitated.
Exactly.
Yes, true.
So you can be at home because there's nothing else that you can do.
Yeah.
It's you are just a victim of possibly deformity or something.
Yeah.
There's another class of people who are at home because they have decided. They have decided that my wife has this stable job.
Yeah.
I feel instead of now trying this, trying that, failing, wasting money here and there, let my wife concentrate on working. Let me stay at home. What am I doing at home? At home, as a dad, I want to have ample time with my children. Nowadays, there's a very, very huge deficit when it comes to getting a good house help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So you feel like the things that my children are going through, as a father, I cannot stand it. And because the job that my wife has actually has been supporting us as a family. Every family understands its struggles. And as a father, despite the ego that I am going out there. You know, you can be out there doing a lot of nothing. Where tu ni maraudi mwenda tu unachapa huko. In the evening you come home, you are tired, there's nothing you are bringing on the table.
You're annoyed, yeah.
You know?
You're tired and annoyed.
You get?
Yeah.
So you choose, let me be looking after my children, and as I look at my children, I take it as a full-time responsibility.
The problem many people would have with that is the man has been painted as the provider.
Yes.
You know, and the man is supposed to, I mean, you're the one who's going to marry this woman and you're promising her all these things. You know, so you're supposed to give her a roof over her head. You know, the Bible says we should love our wives even as Christ loved the church, perfecting her.
Yes.
You know, so you need to provide for her, you need to provide for these children. And so the problem that a good number of men would have with that is it's like you're trying to feminize my masculinity, you know, because now I am depending on my wife for my upkeep. And that doesn't sell so well. You know, a good number of men kind of have lost their footing because the woman is being empowered and climbing up the corporate ladder, and you feel like my space, the big thing in my space was provision. Now if you take away that from me, unaniachia nini? I don't know what you think about that kind of thinking.
Okay, yeah, it's true. It's true. There's that at the back of our mind, and especially the African man, I want to add, yeah, there is that thinking that, okay, the macho sort of away, that I'm the one providing and all that. But I also look at it in terms, I remember when we were doing counseling before we got married, and our best couple, they asked us, they were thinking, or sort of giving us advice, and thinking, if I, as Humphrey, can go out there and convert my time at this rate, maybe 1,000 an hour. But my wife can go out there and do the same for 5,000 shillings an hour. I mean, it makes more sense to give more hours to the other time so that we have enough, because all this money that comes in is not my money or my wife's money, it's our money. And I think even when we are making decisions, that we want to build a house in this area, we want to invest money in stocks, it should not be a one-person thing as a man, but you suggest. Like for me, I would say here, my wife has better ideas than me when it comes to things of investing and thinking about that. So it is wise for me to submit to her in that sense, that I see she has that in her and be able to do that. For me, on the other hand, I'm better in managing the money. Yeah, so we balance the two that way. There's that cohesion. Yeah, and there's no strife. So I really don't think, if you start looking at it from that perspective, you're able to release yourself and to be able to embrace the new stay-at-home scenario that we are talking about. Yeah.
What about the situation we are having a lot in this day? And somebody would say maybe this kind of ideology is what is fueling that kind of a situation, where you have young men, you know, who don't want to do anything because they meet this 45-year-old, 50-year-old woman, you know, climbing high in this corporate ladder. She has the money, you know, she just needs a companion. And so, fine, let's hook up, let's live life. So you have young men who are being kept, so to speak, by older women, because the woman will provide the money, me, I'll provide the companionship and anything else you need.
Number one, that is laziness. And laziness has another sister. There are two sisters. Another sister of laziness is called sleep.
A little sleep, a little slumber.
Yes.
A little folding of the hands to rest.
And poverty.
Yes.
Now, what they give birth to is poverty. Now, this kind of a person has no future. And sooner or later, they will even be thrown out by this. Because nobody wants to tolerate a lazy man.
Is he anaitwa nini antiwaharia?
Yes, antiwaharia. So what happens with these young men? Their work is just to stay at home, watch TV, movie after movie series, you know, here and there, do some eggs and some sausages, you know, because they are basically you know, sex objects. They have reduced themselves to sex objects. There is nothing more. But you see also now, this woman is also a very sharp woman. At some point, every woman wants someone who can add value
to their life.
To their lives.
Yeah, true.
So at some point, this man will lose. Actually, they are sent away with a paper bag. There's some few clothes, because most of the clothes were bought by this woman. Whatever you brought, you came in with here.
Yeah, you tend to
Live with it. So they become very, very, very hopeless.
Yeah.
So that aspect of stay-at-home dad, this is not even a dad. He has not fathered anything.
Yes.
He has not even fathered himself. He's just there wasting time.
Yes.
So possibly we can advise because probably they are watching us.
Yeah.
If you're in such a relationship, please walk away like a ninja.
Yes.
Just walk away, go and begin life.
Yes.
If you are such a woman, please stop wasting this young man's life.
True.
If you are such a man, possibly, men are also victims.
Yeah.
You find yourself in such a setting, please call yourself a meeting, reconsider, look at your life. The Bible actually is very clear that God has a good plan.
Yeah.
If you feel that this is not God's plan, please dismember yourself from that relationship and go begin life somewhere else.
Exactly. So when we talk about a stay-at-home dad, from the perspective of the times we are living in, even based on what he has shared. Let's get into that and define that a bit more right after the break. But as I was also thinking, I think there's a report I read or an article I read, I think it's in the States or somewhere in Europe, where things are beginning to change and more parents are beginning to take their children out of the schooling system because of what he talked about, character. They are realizing I need to spend more time with this child and develop character in them. And so they are opting for homeschooling. Because I think this character business is also a very important thing we need to talk about. Because as much as our dads went out, yes. And it affected us. Man Up is what you're watching this evening. Stay-at-home dads is the discussion. Like I was saying earlier on, when you hear the term stay-at-home dad, what comes to mind? Share that with us on SMS 20316 and WhatsApp 0786 316 316. A short break. Kimbia jikoni, kopo la maji. Come back for part 2.
Tomorrow on The Corner.
Well, apparently, out of 10, 8 people know people who are addicted to drugs or they have members in their family who are battling this fight.
Unfortunately, not everybody will get into addiction. But now that minority that gets into addiction are the ones now who suffer the consequences.
I was a thief, a very good one. I was, very violent.
I felt so alone. Everything had left. Even the ones that I tried to fit into had left.
Don't miss out on The Corner tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.
Welcome back to Man Up. Tonight we are talking about stay-at-home dads. And we're having more and more of that in this generation. I'm hanging out with two amazing gentlemen. So when we talk about a stay-at-home dad in this generation today, from what both of you have shared and from also how you've patterned your life, we are not talking about a lazy man who just sits at home. Anaekelea mguu juu ya meza anangojea. What are we talking about then?
Yeah, we are talking about a man who knows what he wants and who is acting for the best interest of the family.
Yes.
A man who is not threatened by the success of the woman.
Okay.
Actually, if you study the scriptures very clearly, when you study about the Proverbs that one woman, this is the woman who used to go out there and work. Actually, the Bible says that the man was an elder who used to sit on the gate. On the gate, they were basically mediating people.
And making decisions.
Yeah. You see, this woman never used to bring food at home. It is the woman who used even to invest. The Bible says that she considers a field and buys it. That her children wake up early and call her blessed. This is a woman who does her merchandise. Is a businesswoman, is an entrepreneur. So the issue of provision is not narrowed down
to the man
in the kingdom, dimension. Speaking like a kingdom man, it doesn't narrow down that a man should just do the provision. Provision, actually, when the Bible talks about even submission, it talks about submitting to one another. Before the woman submits to the man, we are supposed to submit to one another. So it's about agreement. What has really brought and make what makes our full-time dads, if you can call them, or stay-home dads, look bad, is because of where we are coming from, and the notion and the misconception.
Yeah.
You can be a stay-home dad, but you are also doing online businesses.
You're working from
You are doing
home.
online. You are working from home.
Yeah, I think that's a term that's become real and relevant after COVID.
Correct.
Working from home.
Correct.
And we thank God that if we had this conversation before COVID, BC.
Yes.
You know, you have BC and
Yes.
if we had this conversation before, some people would not be understanding what you are talking about.
Very true.
But some
Very
people
true.
lost their jobs, and instead of being stranded at home, they began these online things. And I ask people, if you know, people have weaknesses.
Yeah.
If you know that you are a man and you have a weakness in terms of our sisters, you know, passing where you are, why should you encourage a house help when you're just at home alone?
True. Wisdom dictates.
I hope that's not the motivation of being a stay-at-home dad.
You say, no, we are saying that you know, we want to bring out the notion that you're not at home looking after the children. Then why do we need to look for a house girl and you are at home? Why do you need a house girl? And we know you can do her justice anytime. And that will break the marriage.
I'm telling you.
So there's no problem if as a man you can work, and the children possibly are going to school. They come at 4. It's not much. You are basically working from home.
Yes.
It's a matter of agreement. Just agree.
How is it working out for you? You know, does your wife work outside home, or is she also working from home?
Okay.
And then what is a typical day like for you, and what advantages have you seen? Because you've been on this other side as well.
Okay, for me, I would say I like what you said, especially maybe to go back a bit about submission. I like that, and I also had mentioned it about that it's wisdom dictates that you submit to each other in areas that you are seeing that one of you is strong.
Stronger than the other.
My wife could be very good in terms of bringing in the money because she has that in her. So why not? Because it's coming to the pot. So for me, what I looked at it from my two, being a full-time employee, I would say, and then now working from home. And I like the fact or the issue of the BC before COVID. Because I would explain to people when I tell people I'm school, people are like, okay, I don't understand this. But now, interesting, when COVID hit and the schools were closed, then they called me. Then people called me, Humphrey, how do you do this thing? Now they understand what it means to and then also the issue of WFH, work from home. The people never understand. I would tell them I do this and I work from home. They really not understand that. But now it makes more sense to Kenyans, and they are able to understand it. So I really like this. Because now it means if I'm working from home, and my wife probably, my wife is also is a counselor, and our work is flexible. Sometimes she may be called somewhere. Go to Nakuru. There's this workshop you need to do and all that. We can also kusanya the whole family and go there, and I have carried my curriculum, and we go and do and I work from there. So really, actually, it becomes I find it more flexible. And I'm able to even expose my children to different situations. Like for example, they have not been to Nakuru. They can go around and they see Nakuru. They are still learning. Remember, learning is throughout. It's not just in class. So I really like this arrangement than the one I had before of going to work and all that. So really, during the day, the whole day. So it's really working well for us as a family, and we really, in fact, what is quite humbling is God giving us an opportunity, because this is what we really desired, to be able to live like this.
What would you say your connection with your children has become better since this arrangement came into place?
Exactly. Actually, my wife was telling me the other day, alikuwa ananisikilia wivu. Because I'm spending more time with the children, I'm getting a better deal than her. Because obviously the children now get to when I'm teaching. In fact, the other day I was talking to my older one, she's 10, and she was like, okay, Dad, I'm really happy I'm being homeschooled because I have to be, she's a bit slow in some subjects. So she finds it, I can sit with her, I can learn, I can be patient with her, wait on her, and be able to show her. Whereas in a class, that may not happen. Even if it's a small class, because the teacher has many children and many students to really catch up and all that. So really, I think that relationship and that concern, I'm able to know that when we're in class, not only are we learning about maths, 2 + 2 is 4, but you're also learning how do you also interact? How are you patient in what you're doing? How do you, like for example, I like the curriculum I'm doing that it comes out with like comprehension. It's about a story of creation, for example.
Yes.
So apart from just learning that creation, you're also learning what have you understood about that creation? How do you see God? What are the special characters?
Yeah.
Because that is key to us in our terms of learning.
Yes.
What are the characters we're learning today? We're learning about being thrifty. Yeah, about money. I mean, you just don't go buying everything. How you also learn about respecting your neighbor.
Yeah.
You know, all those things. Yeah, so really, I like it because even when we are doing devotion in the evening, I'm able to ask them, you know what we learned? This is what, and in fact, I tell them, I'm happy they are true because I can tell them, now all these things that you are learning, you practice them on each other first.
Yeah.
Before you go out there.
Before you go out there.
So we are keen to tell, okay, like, have you been kind to your sister? Have you all those things? So you're able to monitor, and that is something that I find quite important for us as a family to be able to monitor that and help them grow in that area.
You know, I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm thinking, like the typical person would think, it sounds good, but that's the ideal.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Yes.
you're lucky enough you have a wife who understands you.
Yeah.
She's lucky enough she has a man who's not running his life based on his ego. You know, and both of you have a vision and you're working together to attain certain things.
Yes.
You know, instill certain characters in your children and all that. But that's not the ideal for everybody.
Of course.
You know, because when we talk about especially the aspect of provision and money, it's really a power struggle.
Correct.
If I'm the one providing, then mindio kusema. You know, and I'm just wondering, are many men at that place where they can think the way he's thinking?
I think this now narrows down to the identity of a man.
Yeah.
Who is a man?
Who is a man?
Because many times we don't do justice when we define a man by what he does. That was not the intention of God from the beginning. You find that the first thing when we meet, we are asking, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm an engineer, all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you do? And sometimes you can feel intimidated
Correct.
if you have no title of what you do.
The purpose of that question is kuweka kwa ratibu.
Yes,
I know where I fit. Am I over you or am I beneath you?
But what is this man? Who is this man that God created?
Yeah.
Because by then there were no professions.
Yeah.
Man was just man. What is God's expectation on this man? When you study Ezekiel 1 verses 10, it is able to bring out what we call the glory of man as seen by Ezekiel. And it is seen in 4 phases.
Yeah.
They talk about the first phase of a human face. That human face now of identity of a man, the glory of God is manifested when a man comes out with a human face. The relational face, the social face, the way we are talking, the way a man makes love to his wife, that is through the face of a man. The way you talk to your children, the face of a man. Then the second one was the face of a lion.
Yes.
That must also be, God is happy when a man demonstrates the face of a lion. The lion is king of the jungle.
Yeah.
And it was not appointed by anyone.
No.
There was no committee.
Yes.
There was no elections.
There was no election. The lion did not
The
campaign.
lion branded itself so. It doesn't provide for anybody. Do you know actually the lion doesn't hunt? The lioness hunt.
Yeah.
The lion is just stay at home dad.
That's a good one.
The lion is a stay-at-home dad. Its work is to protect. I want to bring up the responsibilities of a man apart from just providing.
Yeah.
So the face of a lion is a man who speaks, who gives orders.
When he gives his roar, the forest
Thank
comes
you.
to a standstill.
Yes. It doesn't need to say that I've come. A roar is enough to make every animal scatter.
Yeah.
So that is the face of a lion. A man must be able to influence his household.
Yeah.
Not by power.
Yeah.
Si cha nguvu. Nimesema kama mimi ndiye mwanaume hapa you know, the other face they talk of the face of an ego.
Yes.
That is the visionary man. You may not be able to bring a lot of finances,
Yes,
but you have a
can
vision.
see.
When the wife brings money, you are able to say, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we do an apartment. I'm thinking that we rocket from this place. We go to that direction. Every woman desires to see that in a man, the visionary man.
Yeah.
Not like the way sometimes we see the wife and the husband living like suspects. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow. You know,
True.
You are just there. You are
Yes,
just there, living.
yes.
They say a day at a time. There's a
Liwe
need,
liwalo.
there's a need of having a visionary man, a
Yes.
man with the eye of an eagle.
Okay. Yes.
Then lastly, they talk about the eye of the face of an ox.
Yes.
And that is the working man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
The man, you may not even be going out there. And you know, working does not mean getting out of the gate.
Working is not necessarily a job.
No. You know, God worked. And the only thing that you can say he handled with his hands is a man.
Correct.
But he worked. He created through the words. He spoke. He said, let there be, let there be, let there be. So if we take God as our Father, then we must adopt the character of God.
Yeah.
So the four faces is what gives man his identity. Any woman who understands that is a woman who will be able to submit under this man, regardless of what the man is putting on the table.
I feel like we should take an offering. Do you see more men getting into the kind of space you are in? Do you have friends who are also doing something similar?
Oh yes. I've met a few. I've met like about 3, 4. Yeah, we're also in the same thing.
Yeah.
They're doing exactly like me, the same setup.
Okay.
Yeah, I even met one who is a doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, he's being a doctor in America and came back here, and he was a person actually who is actually the parent responsible for homeschooling the children. Yeah, but still doing the same and doing other things. Yeah. So really, I think people are sort of getting to embrace this and to understand this, especially the man.
Yeah.
Is sort of getting to and still seeing that you should be the first person in terms of taking the responsibility toward bringing up your children. Yeah. I also think it is supposed to be a man's job to actually, it's only that you delegate it to your wife.
Yeah.
But technically it should be us, because you know the women, the wife is a helper.
Yeah.
So it's actually our job to do it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think we'd have better societies if more men were hands-on in the raising up of their children?
Yes. A man thrives by the delegated authority from God.
Yeah.
That is how a man thrives. And what he's saying, if we are able to put these things on the table and carry out our responsibilities, do you know actually that the word responsibility comes from the two words, ability to respond, responding ability. So if we are able to respond to our parenting roles as men, let me tell you some of the things you see our children doing, will not do it. When a man is silent, that is when the society go wrong. When the man is silent. Allow me also to say, when you study Job 28 from verses 5, and I want every woman listening to us today is man up. But it's important if you get this. It says, Job 28:5, that on the surface of the earth you find food, but deep down the shafts of the earth you get gold. If you look at your man from the surface, he will only bring bread. But if you dig deep, you know, if you want to do maize, potatoes, just dig on the surface. But if you want water, if you want gold, you must dig deep. So you must begin to look at your man as someone who has something that you need, the society need. So in every man, there is a mine. What you get from that mind is dependent on how deep you dig.
My friend, the name Joe Wisdom didn't just come out of nowhere.
True.
The man is full of wisdom. My producer is telling me we are out of time. You know, just because you're in that space, what would you tell a man who's struggling? Because maybe, you know, we are so wired to find a job as men. And when the job is not there, you feel like you've lost your identity, you've lost your power, you've lost your worth. You know, if there's a man within that kind of scenario and they feel that way, what would you tell them?
Okay, one, because I'm a Christian, first I'll tell them to wait on the Lord. That's number one.
Yes.
Yeah, number two, because things change and things happen. Like even he started by saying somebody may be incapacitated. You might have a big job, a doctor, incapacitated, you can't go out and operate people. So what do? You say. So I think the best way is first to wait on the Lord. That's very important, to have, to understand that identity that he has talked about in Ezekiel. Because still you can talk, you can do many things. So I think that is what is important. And also to appreciate the fact that don't panic. Because people panic, and you panic and then you become worried, and worry brings a lot of stuff. So I think the most important thing is to have that stability in your mind and to ask God to give you that peace, so that now you are able to make to look at things carefully,
Yes.
and be able to embrace and to think outside the box. Yeah, because things can really, probably God is setting you up for an amazing
Yes.
life after
Yes.
that. Yeah, so just look at that and be able to trust that the Lord will open doors for you.
Very
I
true.
think the most important thing is to be able to trust in the Lord. Yeah, so He's able to open your eyes and be able to see the next phase of your life what's supposed to be. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
My good friends,
Yeah.
thank you for coming. Thank you for your wisdom. And thank you for your experience.
Yes, thank you.
know, because you're living this life.
Yes,
This life that we are talking about. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I love it. Stay at home dads. Doesn't mean that you're just staying at home doing nothing. No. You're working from home, but you're hands-on where the raising of your children and even the education of your children is concerned. And like my two friends have said, we will have better societies if men are more hands-on in the raising up of their children. Until next week, have yourselves a great day and God bless you.
Fresh, insightful, and in-depth stories from current affairs, opinion, inspiration, lifestyle, church-related articles, and so much more on www.familynews.today. Insights at your fingertips.